As always, I need to let everybody know that this session is being recorded so that we can provide it for those who cannot be with us today. But this is week 6 of Ultimate Launch. If you have been here for all 6 weeks, congratulations. You are more than halfway through your Ultimate Launch program. For those of you who are new to us and you have not been able to get to all 6 weeks, you're in luck because as soon as Ultimate Launch is complete, we start it again. So you will have time to make those up. This week's lesson plan is already in your email. I sent that ahead of time so you have all of these handout sheets so you can look at that whenever your heart desires. But this week is all about lead generation and management. So lead generation and management, we're going to go over some tips, some tricks, what lead generation is, and how you should be managing the leads and contacts that come through your system. So just so that you know, here in September, we're doing a Prospecting 101 training. For those of you who do not know the difference between leads and prospects, trust me, you will learn that in Prospecting 101. So that one is coming. I suggest everybody attend that one, especially if you are a new agent. Okay, so let's jump into it. Lead generation and management. Do we need leads? What are leads? So leads are somebody that comes through your system that you don't personally know, that doesn't personally know you, that has an interest in buying or selling real estate. And do we need leads? Well, not if you enjoy being broke. Part of real estate just means that you are out there trying to get new leads and prospects to fill your pipeline so that you can close houses. Think of leads this way. Leads is a community contact. So I hate when people are like, oh, I called the lead and they didn't call back. They didn't want to buy right away. Think of leads this way. Leads are people who don't know you and you don't know, but they're people who have some type of interest in real estate, whatever that means. And that can mean an array of things. This could mean that they saw a house down the street and they're just kind of poking around at this point. They're mildly interested in that particular home. It could mean that, hey, I would buy a house if I could, but I don't really know if I can, or I don't even know where to start. It could mean that I found the perfect home on Zillow or on your website or wherever I'm looking and I want to buy now. So you never really know what stage a lead is in. So I like to call them community contacts because you're building community contacts within the area where you work and live. And leads will eventually buy sometime. It just may not be today. It might not be tomorrow. It might be 6 months or a year in the future, but a lead is a lead nonetheless. They've shown interest in a property and interest in getting to know you as potentially their real estate agent. So what is a lead? Identifying a lead typically involves recognizing someone who has shown interest in your product or service and has the potential to become a paying customer. That is what a lead is. And a lead is getting leads is a huge part of our real estate business. You should be collecting leads every day. You should be making those new community contacts every day. And that is what is going to fill your pipeline for years to come. How do we find these magical leads and prospects? Okay, how do we find them? Well, you can find them through online presence and digital marketing. And that's probably the most successful way of doing it now is online. When I started, I don't even know how many years ago now, 17, 18 years ago in the real estate industry, online presence was not such a big thing as it is today. So what we had to do is get in front of people face to face. In today's digital age, it is easier than ever to get your face out there and let people know that you sell real estate and you can help them with a variety of their problems, whether that means purchasing real estate, whether that means selling real estate that they already have, renting a property, figuring out what their home might be worth on the open market. There is a variety of ways that you can solve consumers' problems. And the best way to advertise this is online. So how do we do that? We're going to do that through our social media platforms, our website, through SEO and content creation, and online advertising. There is a variety of ways that you can advertise online. If you were here last week with social media content creation, then you know that we spend an entire week just on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, the whole 9 yards. And that is just one small piece of the overall online presence and digital marketing that you have at your disposal. So one thing that I see fall through the cracks so many times that agents forget about is what their website looks like, the valuable content that is on your website. So if you already have a website with Realty One, and if you are a licensed agent and you're on this call, it means you do, whether you know it or not, You should be putting that valuable content onto your website so you can be displaying that website across multiple platforms. All right, how do we find leads? Number 2, real estate portals and listings through the MLS, third-party websites, or websites like Zillow, Realtor, and Trulia. So that's how we can find additional leads. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, how do I find leads through the MLS? Because if there's a listing on the MLS, it means they already have an agent. Let's forget about the listing. Okay, let's forget about the actual seller behind the listing, because you're right, they already have a content. But let's think outside of the box here. There is a whole inventory online at your disposal. You pay for an MLS membership. This gives you your product. So let's talk about the product, okay? Let's talk about advertising that product, of course, with another agent's permission, and using that product, if you don't have any of your own, to find buyers within the market that fit that product. You see where I'm going with this? There's lots of agents both in your brokerage here at Realty One and other brokerages that would be thrilled if you were out there sharing their listing content, because at the end of the day, a seller's agent just wants the house what? What does a listing agent want? They want it? Somebody give it to me. Sold. Thank you. They just want it sold. They don't really care who sells it. They just want the house sold as quick as possible for the best possible price and at the best possible terms for their seller. So let's help them out. If you don't have any listings of your own, buddy up with somebody, and it's easier to do it within your office, but you could do it with anybody and say, hey, would you mind if I marketed your property on my online social media pages? Or would you mind if I send this out to my list of buyers? Okay, so use the MLS to your advantage. Where else can you find, when we're talking about online websites, how else can we find potential leads and clients through third-party websites?
Like
anybody have an idea?
What's that? For sale by owner website?
Yeah, for sale by owners. That's like the easiest thing, for sale by owners. If you go on to Zillow, you could do a specific search within your market area for properties that are listed for sale by owner. And this is a great opportunity for you to mention in conversation with your clients that you know of an off-market property that's available in the market that they're looking for, and then take that opportunity to call the seller and say, hey, I represent a buyer. Do you mind if I bring them by your home? And then after that buyer leaves, hopefully you could strike up the conversation with that seller, win them over with your charm and stunning personality, and get that listing. So think outside of the box on where we can find leads. Next is networking and referrals. And a lot of people don't think about networking as part of getting leads, but it's a great place to get leads. So how do we get leads off of networking events? Has anybody gotten a lead off of a networking event?
It could be through like one of your mortgage lending partners, or possibly an attorney, or like maybe title. It all depends.
No, it all depends. It could be literally from anybody. Attorneys are a great example, because if your niche is working with estates, attorneys are a great place to get referrals for estates. That could be something that you're working into your networking. Just don't be afraid to let people know that you gladly accept referrals, that you'd be happy to send referrals back when possible. Break into that conversation and let them know, I do a great job for my clients. You do a great job for your clients. So let's share some love here. And when I have the opportunity, I'm going to refer you business. When you have the opportunity, you refer me business. But even think bigger. It doesn't have to be just lenders and title people and attorneys. This could literally be anybody. It could be your plumber. It could be your roofer. It could be your banker. It could be your accountant. It could literally be anybody. You know who else is a great source of referrals? And most people don't even think about it. A wonderful source of referrals is wedding planners and event planners. They are a great source of referrals because people are getting married. And when people get married, what do they often think about? The 2.5 kids and the picket fence and the dog, right? right? And where do they need to be able to have that? What do they have to do to be able to have the 2.5 kids and the picket fence and the dog? They need to buy a house. So think bigger than that and think outside of the box. Next, where do we find more leads? Open houses and property tours. Open houses are one of the easiest places for any new agent to get leads. So open houses are a great thing. More seasoned agents who maybe don't have the time to do the open houses because they're very busy love it when newer agents come to them and say, I saw you have a new listing and I'd love to host an open house for you. They absolutely love it. It takes so much stress and anxiety off of a more seasoned agent who maybe doesn't have the time or the bandwidth to be able to do the open house. So think of it that way. Now, some agents will tell you they love open houses. Some will tell you that they hate open houses. The ones who tell you that they love open houses are doing open houses properly. And the ones who say they hate it are doing open houses all wrong, because there's a right way to do them and there's a wrong way to do them. We do have some training on ROGU agent for open houses. I highly suggest if you're a new agent or an agent that struggles with open houses, go back and watch that training. We do that once a year, so that'll be coming up in the fall when we have a little extra time and we're not in the midst of busy season like we are right now. But open houses are great because you do get other people's clients that come in, and you definitely want to respect the relationship that they have with their agent and their broker. But there is a lot of times that consumers come to an open house because they don't have an agent, and this is their way of interviewing you as the agent on the floor, or they're just kind of thinking about buying a house. Again, maybe they're not sure how, maybe they're not sure if they're ready, maybe they'll buy a house when the right house presents itself. But either way, this gives you the opportunity to be positioned at the right place at the right time when the clients are ready to make a move. All right. Direct outreach, cold calling, email marketing, direct mail, farming, and door knocking. So these are great ways to get leads. And again, I mentioned Prospecting 101. We're going to spend a lot of time on more prospecting for leads as opposed to lead generation online, because we have so many agents that only look for online lead generation. They're kind of forgetting about the prospecting aspect. So we're going to spend a whole hour on prospecting. So come back for that. Next, lead generation services. So lead companies, CRM systems. We're pretty well all versed on that, on the world of Zillow, unless you've been living under a rock for I don't know how many years, but Zillow dominates the market when it comes to leads. So if you're still having trouble, or if you need to supplement your leads, you can always look at third-party lead generation services. All right, a few others that you can do is content creation and education. I know we talked about things like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, but have you thought about places like YouTube? You can do vlogging, you can do blogging. So blogging is whenever you have words on your screen. That would be something that you can incorporate into your website. Or you can do vlogging, which is video blogging through sites like YouTube. This is where you're able to provide high rates of valuable content that bring people in to you because they need to be led and educated to a decision that suits them best. You can also work off of this and do webinars or even in-person workshops. Before COVID, we had a lot of agents going out and doing in-person workshops. And these are no different than the trainings that you are all sitting on today. It's just directed for a consumer as opposed to an agent. So find some valuable content, give some great value adds, have some promotional items and giveaways, some food, some drink, and invite your community to come to your workshop. Next is past clients. Past clients are a great source of leads and referrals. So going out and talking to your past clients, doing maybe a pop by. If you don't know what a pop by is, we do have a training on that as well. Go by and do a pop by their home with a small gift, or just give them a call and ask them if they know anybody who's interested in purchasing or selling. Next, moving on to local advertisement, newspapers, bargain ads, billboards and signs, bill posting, and community bulletin boards. We have somebody on the call today that just did bill posting. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Tobias sent me some of his bills that he posted. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically making a flyer about who you are and what services you provide, and then stopping by your local businesses and asking if they will post that flyer on their community bulletin board. I always take a peek every time I go to a restaurant and they have a bill post board just to see what agents are on there. And I get so excited if I see any of our Realty One agents. I take a photo of it, post it on Facebook, send it to the agents. So it definitely can work as some passive advertising and lead generation. All right, last but not least is our sphere of influence. If you remember from lesson 1, we talked about sphere of influence, and we will continue to talk about sphere of influence until I am dead and in the ground cold. So your sphere of influence is the most important part of your lead generation and prospecting. Remember, these are the people you know, the people who know you, and the people who should know that you're in real estate and should be referring you business. These are your friends, your family, your coworkers, and any referrals you've received along the way. So please, 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 when you're generating leads, do not forget about your sphere of influence. All right. Does anybody else have any other lead generation place that they are generating leads that has been successful? No? Maybe I just talk too much. Just talk too much, huh?
Well, I'm in the midst of Instagram and Facebook ads, which I'm generating leads every day. But they're similar to the USDA ads, that you've been pushing out too. So they need, a little extra love, time, nurturing, that type of thing. But, as soon as I get a lead, I'm reaching out to them via phone call, text, email, and just trying to work them as best I can.
No, that's great. You're positioning yourself to be in the right place at the right time, whenever that time happens to be. And that's what it's all about with leads. So like I said at the very beginning of this training, a lot of agents come into this with blinders on, the Amish horses with the blinders, they can't see the cars coming, and they come into it and all they see is the word lead. And they assume a lot of times that lead means that they're buying today. I'm going to go meet these people and they're going to love me and they're going to write an offer tonight and I'm going to close in 30 days. That's not what it's about. Leads are community connections. It's about collecting information, starting to build rapport, and positioning yourself to be in the right place at the right time. But the time is up to the client, not to you, right? You're just positioning yourself to be in the right place at the right time. Okay? So we meet new people every day. That's a given. All of us meet new people each and every day. So what I want you to do on this sheet is just think of 5 people you have met in the month of August. Just 5. It could be anybody. It could be the receptionist at your doctor's office that just got hired. It could be the little old lady that you talked to about her dog in the grocery store. It could be somebody that called in on one of your yard signs and asked you about a property you just listed. It could be anybody. And I'm not saying you had to have a conversation about real estate. I'm just saying that it has to be somebody that you've never met before. And I want you to start keeping track of who you meet and when and getting their contact information. Okay, it's easier than ever to get their contact information. So I want you to start listing out 5 people every month that you have met and start to get their contact information, because again, leads are all about being at the right place at the right time, but you have to position yourself there. So just because the receptionist at your doctor's office has no interest in buying a home today because she just started her job, right? She needs time on the job. It doesn't mean that in 6 months she won't be ready. So it's all about being at the right place at the right time. So once you get these people's contact information, then you want to go ahead and you want to add them to your database and start forming that relationship with them. And what does that mean? It means Paying extra attention to the receptionist at the doctor's office. Hey, how's everything going with your job? Maybe sending her a thank you note with your business card in it that says, hey, just wanted to tell you, you did an amazing job for my first appointment. Keep going. You're going to ace this job. I'm so excited for you. P.S. If you know anybody, if anybody comes in that's looking for real estate, I'm your guy. Here's my card. So it's about being in the right place at the right time. All right, practical tips for finding real estate leads. Open houses. Prep early. Signs up the week before the open house. The week before, not the day before, not the morning of, not 15 seconds before you unlock the door. Prep early. Signs up the week before the open house. Share on social media. Open house invites to the neighbors and clients. Yeah, you should be sending something over to the neighbors and clients, whether that means you're mailing them something, whether that means you are knocking on that door and inviting them over. You should also be telling your current clients as well as your past clients about the open house. And you can do that easily through your CRM. It is so easy to make a flyer in your CRM. You select who to send it to, entire database. Click a button and boom, off it goes. Everybody gets an email that says, please come and visit me at my open house. You know, I'm going to have refreshments. We're having a raffle for a basket or whatever. Make it exciting for them. Invite them over. Pop by a few hours before the open house to re-invite the neighbor. So stop over with something, some type of gift, some type of show of admiration to the neighbors and say, listen, I don't know if you got my flyer last week, but we're having an open house over at Adam and Jan's house down the street. And they told me to come up and invite you over. They'd love for you to walk through the home and just give them your honest opinion on the house. Make it about your clients. Make it about the neighbor, that the neighbor is being invited over by your sellers. That they'd really just love to get your thoughts on their home. You know, they're selling, it's breaking their heart. They hate to lose you as a neighbor, but they do really respect your opinion. They'd love you to come over and see it. Hold a contest the day of the open house. Maybe if they come over, they get an entry to a basket. They can win a gas card. Collect all buyers' info at the open. So make sure you're getting all of their information. Give a small open house favor. This could be something as simple as a customized pen with your business card attached. It could be something elaborate like custom cookies. I've done that before. Custom cookies, water bottles with your label on it. I've even done little tiny like swag bags with snacks and stuff in it. I mean, let your imagination run wild. All right, there's some tips on here for direct outreach, like sending a postcard with advertising. Send handwritten cards. This is probably what I do the most. This is like my claim to fame, is sending a handwritten card. This is not a pre-printed card. I mean, obviously there's a card and it'll say like happy house anniversary or, happy birthday or just thinking of you or whatever. But I actually write in my cards with my pen and I sign my name with my pen. And then when I write the envelopes, I hand write them. I do not print out labels. I do not have my envelopes custom printed with the return address on it. I handwrite everything. And if you've ever gotten anything from me in the mail, you know it's always in a black envelope with gold pen, right? Because it stands out. I'm all about the handwritten card. And I can't tell you how many times I've gotten responses back from people that said, oh, it was so sweet to get something in the mail. Nobody ever sends handwritten cards anymore. Okay. Lead generation services are there. Practice speed to lead. Feed the need in 15 seconds or less. We'll go over that in another training here. And then here's some tips here for content creation and education, past client tips, sphere of influence. I'm not going to go through it all because we'd be here for 2 hours, but feel free to take a look at that in your handout. All right, what I really wanted to cover is the rule of 7. If you have never been on a call with me before, you may not know what the rule of 7 is, but congratulations. This is the first of many times you will hear me say it. What is the rule of 7? Anybody who's been around me long enough, can they answer what the rule of 7 is? I know some of you know what this is. No? Jim knows what it is. He's just being quiet. The rule of seven. The rule of seven says that on average, the human mind will not remember a person until they have heard their name and what they do 7 consecutive times. So a person is not going to remember you until they have heard your name and what you do 7 times. So it's the rule of 7. It's a psychological selling technique that they have to hear from you 7 times to even remember that you are a human that exists on this planet for more than 30 seconds. This is true because how many times have you gone into a party? You go to a cookout in the summer, it's your friend's cookout, and your friend goes and takes you around and introduces you to all the guests. And you say, and they say, hey, this is Larry, this is Sandra, this is Jenny. And you even repeat it back. Hi, Larry. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Jenny. And you shake their hands. And then you walk away and your partner asks you, what was that tall guy's name again? And you're like, oh, crap, I don't remember. Right? Right? Because it's unneeded information. So your brain doesn't store it because it's not valuable to your brain yet. So almost like a computer system that reorganizes its data at night when you shut it down, your brain reorganizes and it says, this information is important, keep it. This information is not important, get rid of it. So the rule of 7 says that your brain has to hear their name and how they affect you 7 times. So let's talk about how we can reach out to somebody 7 times. Okay, hold on. Somebody needs back in here. Somebody got kicked out. Okay, there it is. So let's talk about how we can reach out to somebody 7 times so that they remember us. All right. So Derek answers the phone and it's an incoming lead on the other line. He has learned about the 7 touches and wants to ensure he is doing all he can for this couple to remember his name. Here are the steps he follows. All right. Number 1, Derek introduced himself with his full name and brokerage name. That is touch number 1. And then at the end of the call, he repeats his name, brokerage name, and then left his phone call for the lead. So what does that look like? You answer the phone with the lead, and I would say, hi, this is Christina Hoffmeyer from Realty One Group Ultimate. I'm following up with you in regards to your request to see 123 Main Street. And then you go about the conversation. Okay, great. I will be meeting you there Thursday at 2 o'clock. Just to reiterate, my name is Christina Hoffmeyer. If you want to write that down, this is my telephone number. I work for Realty One Group Ultimate, and I will be meeting you there at the house. Okay, so you've already told them twice your name and what you do. All right, at the beginning of the conversation and before you wrap up. Just a reminder, my name is Christina. I work at Realty One Group Ultimate, and I'll be the one meeting you. After the call, he sends a text message with the appointment details and his email signature at his name at brokerage name. Okay, so when I send text messages, I have a shortcut. And all I have to do is put CH, and it says Christina Hoffmeyer, broker owner, Realty One Group Ultimate. And anytime I'm working or talking to somebody who is new, I always use that text signature. Because again, the rule of 7 touches is they have to repetitively see or hear my name 7 times to remember that I even walk on this earth. Okay, so that's number 3. He sends a calendar invite to the lead with the place and the time of the appointment. He includes his name, brokerage name, and telephone number in the invite. So they've talked to him on the phone. He said his name twice, once at the introduction, once at the ending. Then he sends him a text message thanking them for communicating with him and reminding them of the appointment. And then he sends a calendar invite, which just dumps into his calendar with his information in there. Then touch number 5, he sends a follow-up email thanking the lead for taking the time to speak with him and offered a few other homes of interest. He includes an email signature with what? His name, his brokerage information, and his telephone number. Number 6, the morning of the appointment, he called the lead to confirm the appointment, again, giving his full name and brokerage number. So the morning of the appointment, hi, this is Christina Hoffmeyer over at Realty One Group Ultimate. I was just calling to confirm our appointment today at 1 o'clock. I am so excited to meet with you. It's as simple as that. And number 7, at the appointment, he arrived with his business card, name badge, and his buyer presentation booklet, all of which has his name, his brokerage information, and his phone number. You see how it works? By the time they show up at that property and he has met them face to face, he has had 7 touches. And from that point on, they will then start to associate the home buying process with Derek, okay? Because they've had those 7 touches. So it's super important that you practice the rule of 7. This is a psychological selling technique. Studies have shown that people often buy from people they feel they know and trust. It takes 7 times for someone to feel that they know who you are. And by taking the steps, it'll better ensure that you are building not only trust, but making a positive impact on the lead's psyche. Psychological phenomenon. There's a psychological phenomenon called the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, or the frequency illusion. So this cognitive bias happens when you become aware of something new and then start noticing it everywhere, even though the frequency of its occurrence hasn't really changed at all. Have you ever thought to yourself, I should lose weight for vacation, and then all of a sudden, everywhere you look is a new weight loss program, new gym opening, or new diet gimmick? You will be surprised, if played correctly, how many clients after your 7 touches will comment, I see your signs everywhere, or I just saw your ad on Facebook. When in reality, you were there all along. The only thing that has changed is that now the client's psyche associates you with real estate. They just didn't notice before. And this is absolutely true. Absolutely true. And it happens every day. I must hear this at least 3 times a week when I'm talking to people. All of a sudden, they see our signs everywhere. All of a sudden, it's all about Realty One. All of a sudden, they're seeing us on social media. We've been here all along. It's just that we weren't important to them, and they didn't associate us with real estate until now. All right, tracking your database, your CRM. If you don't know what a CRM is, it stands for a client relationship manager. So a client relationship manager is a piece of software technology used to manage and analyze customer interactions and data throughout the customer's life cycle. So the goal of this is just to improve relationships and stay connected with our clients, offering better customer retention and better sales growth. So you get a CRM when you sign up with Realty One, those of you who are new to our program. It is called OneSuite. OneSuite helps you organize all of your contacts and leads and all of your prospects. So remember when we were talking about the 5 people that you meet in a month, you want to add every single person that you know and every person that you meet into your database, because that is your potential pipeline, your future pipeline of people you're going to sell to. Or those can be the people that are going to refer you people who are going to buy or sell a home. So in your CRM, you can organize contacts, make notes, track phone, email addresses, physical addresses, birthdays, etc. You can mass email and text, send newsletters and new listings, and keep in touch with your sphere of influence and past clients. There is a link in here which you can click on in your email to get some OneSuite training. We're not going to go through a lot of OneSuite training here in Ultimate Launch because we're just giving the background of it, but there is a ton of training in your One.U, which is your One University platform, in your One Login, and you can also go to roguagent.com to catch up on any of our OneSuite trainings that we've done in the past. The foundation of information management is your CRM. It provides a centralized database with all of the information housed in one place. And those of us who are older, who remember the Rolodexes, you younger ones may not even know what a Rolodex is, but please Google it. We used to have these big index cards that were on a roller. So if you wanted to know who was who, you would have these index cards and they would attach to this roller. And you would roll through an alphabetical order to figure out like who is who, like, you know, Jim Smith, and this is his address, and this is his telephone number, this is his birthday, and this is this, you know? So your CRM is exactly that. It is your Rolodex of people, and it should be treated that way. You should have some type of centralized database for all of the people that you know. However, Where it does excel, that the Rolodex fell short, is that it helps with an enhanced organization. So your CRM can help you with your task management, can alert you of birthdays, house anniversaries. You can send out communications through your CRM, like your newsletters, and it definitely helps with lead capture as well. There's even more you can do with your CRM that you may not even know exists, and that is data analytic and reporting. So your CRM can provide you insights for sales performance and help you track key metrics. So if you've been on any of our advanced courses about your tracking your KPIs and managing your business, then this will sound familiar to you. But this is really how you track your overall conversion, the amount of money that you're spending on leads or maybe not spending, and how your business is running, whether efficiently or not so efficiently. It is also going to help enhance your customer experience. One of the most common feedback items that we receive on a brokerage level is that agents are poor at communicating. So I would suggest when communicating with your leads and prospects as well as your clients, you would want to communicate in as many ways as possible. Maybe not in one way, but as many ways as possible. Offer them real value through your content, whether that's through newsletters, blog posts, tips, new listings that are coming to the market, invitations to open houses. Use your CRM as part of your feedback and part of your communication. Your CRM can also help you through marketing automation, and that can be done right on OneSuite. So if you want to track some of your marketing, whether it's through Facebook or Instagram or on your website, you can do that right through your CRM. And of course, there is mobile access through our One app. All right, so here is some detailed step-by-steps of how to enter a new contact into OneSuite. And I'm not going to go through this. It's pretty easy to do, but if anybody has any problems, please reach out to your TC and let them know that you need additional help. There's also some help steps and videos on ROGU Agent as well. Here it's going to give you step-by-step on how to do a drip campaign or create an e-blast newsletter. All right, now, here's your ideas for a drip campaign. So what I would love everybody to do is have a custom drip campaign that is all their own. And you don't have to have a year-long drip campaign if you're just starting with drip campaigns. Is there anybody on this call that does not know what a drip campaign is? I guess I should ask. Anybody at all? Don't be afraid to say it if you don't know. No? All right. So what I'd like you to do is come up with 3 topics for a drip campaign. 3, just 3. 3 topics that you can do for a drip campaign that you can send out to your entire database. 3 really valuable pieces of information. Maybe that's, we're coming into the fall. Maybe an idea for your drip campaign for the fall is how to prepare your home for fall. And you can talk about unclogging your gutters as the leaves fall, trimming back any of the trees before the snow falls. Winterizing your outdoor hose bib for the fall, okay? And then maybe your second topic is ideas for the holidays, decorating your home for the holidays. And then maybe you do a third one for the spring. And you do spring cleaning ideas and how to spruce up your home for the spring. The sky is the limit, but what I suggest you all do is come up with 3 relevant topics and create some type of blog or newsletter based around those topics. Now, I don't expect anybody to be an award-winning novelist here. Use ChatGPT to your advantage. You can use it to help you gather ideas on drip campaign topics. You can use it to help you write a blog. Of course, I never suggest using it word for word, but it's great for ideas and for taking bits and pieces of things. Just always proofread everything to make sure that 1, everything is valid, and 2, that everything is compliant. Okay? So I challenge you to do that and sign up your entire OneSuite database for those 3 to 4 topics that you come up with. All right. I know that this was a long session and it takes me talking a whole lot to get through week 6 in talking very fast to get through in the allotted 45 minutes that we spend together. But I'd love to open it up and get you guys' thoughts on anything you've tried or anything you will be trying from today's lesson.
Well, I loved your, I call it the black and gold campaign, but I'm actually doing it right now, using the black envelopes with the gold marker, reaching out to expireds, and then using RPR for market activity and using like that data in my expired letter, kind of like support that. So that's one of the things I'm doing right now for expireds.
That's great. Yeah, my black and gold campaign. Those letters always really stand out because they're so different. So I love doing that. Love doing that. Is anybody else working on a lead or prospecting campaign at the current moment? No? No? Is anybody working on their sphere of influence list to turn into their TC?
Me and Bree have been.
Perfect. Perfect. Who else do we have on the call that has not turned in their sphere of influence list? That is going to be, we've got David is working on his. I know that. Jake just sent in his. Tobias and Tori, we still need their sphere of influence list. Just so you know, when we get that sphere of influence list from you, that is part of your lead generation and prospecting. So as we get your sphere of influence list, your TC takes that and orders you custom cards that go out in envelopes to your sphere of influence list that tells them that, hey, you've arrived at Realty One, you're ready to help them with your home needs. So that's part of your lead generation that we were talking about in this lesson. So please take advantage of that, because as each person signs on, you get up to 50 cards, postage paid, they get sent out to your sphere of influence list. So make sure that you're filling that out. For those of you who are new, if you don't have the list, Hallie, you're also eligible for your cards. So if you don't have that list, make sure that you get with your manager or mentor to get those sphere of influence forms so that you can fill them out and send them in, because you have credits waiting here for you. We just need that data. But it is definitely part of lead management. And it's also a great practice going through that sphere of influence, because that's what you use to start your CRM. And then you go through those steps here that we have in the instructions. You go back to that. Here it is. So you're going to take that list and you're going to start data entering those sphere of influence people into your OneSuite. And that's who you start marketing to right away. And then your list builds. Okay. It will build over time. I can tell you that I have over 30,000 contacts in my CRM over the years. 30,000. I started out with 100 contacts on day one with my sphere of influence, and I've built that up to 30,000 community members that I've had some type of interaction with at some point in my real estate career. 30,000 people are getting my collateral. 30,000 people are being notified of my open houses. 30,000 people are getting newsletters each and every month. So when people ask me, like, how do you find all of these listings that you're giving agents, or how do we find a lot of these leads that are going to the lead program? The CRM, I mean, it may be a portion of it, but it is definitely a portion of those people come back and they're referring us other clients. All right, any other questions? No? All right. Well, next week, week 7 is all about networking and referrals. So same time, same place. We're going to talk about networking and referrals, and we're going to deep dive into that a little bit more and see how you can generate leads and create amazing working relationships by just going to events that are often sponsored by people in the community. And trust me, networking events are great. There's free food. There's free drinks, great atmosphere. So definitely want to learn about those. As always, I will stay on the line here in case anybody needs me and wants to talk to me in private after the call. But if you jump off, have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Thank you.